Hello and welcome back to the Cosmic Vortex. My name is Troy, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a bit of a more low-key video talking about my thoughts on Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall announcing their departure from Doctor Who. Before I do so, obviously I want to give a bit more context to what's going on in case people don't know or don't know enough information about it. So what I'm going to do very briefly is read out a few key bits of information from the announcement so you're up to speed and you know what's going on. Having been in charge of the TARDIS since filming for the 13th Doctor began in 2017, showrunner Chris Chibnall and the 13th Doctor Jodie Whittaker have confirmed they will be moving on from the most famous police box on Earth and the universe. With a 6-part event serial announced for the autumn and 2 specials already planned for 2022, BBC One has now asked for an additional final feature-length adventure for the 13th Doctor to form a trio of specials for 2022 before the Doctor regenerates once more. As that text suggests, it's been quite an eventful week for Doctor Who before this announcement was even made. We had the San Diego Comic-Con panel for Series 13, which confirmed it would be 6 episodes and all of them would connect to form one singular story for the first time in modern Doctor Who. It was something very exciting to me personally because to me, Chris Chibnall was best known before Doctor Who as the lead writer of Broadchurch, which, like Series 13 is going to be for Doctor Who, was a single story told across multiple episodes. So I think it leans better into Chris Chibnall's skill set to have one single story with different monsters popping up every now and again. But hanging over all of our heads at that time was the news that Jodie Whittaker was potentially going to be leaving the show. The rumours were first announced in January of 2021, and we hadn't heard anything official from the BBC since. But several days after the panel, this announcement did come out, and what surprised me the most about it is that Chris Chibnall is leaving. Because to me, Jodie Whittaker leaving after 3 series, that's not a surprise. David Tennant, Matt Smith, and Peter Capaldi all left after 3 seasons, so it doesn't really surprise me that the same thing is going to happen for Jodie. But it is Chris Chibnall's departure that has really surprised me, and he did say a bit more about this that I'd like to read out as well. Jodie and I made a 3-series and out pact with each other at the start of this once-in-a-lifetime blast. So now our shift is done, and we're handing back the TARDIS keys. Jodie's magnificent, iconic Doctor has exceeded all our high expectations. She's been the gold standard leading actor, shouldering the responsibility of being the first female Doctor with style, strength, warmth, generosity, and humour. She captured the public imagination and continues to inspire adoration around the world, as well as from everyone on the production. I can't imagine working with a more inspiring Doctor, so I'm not going to. It's a nice sentiment, and I really hope it's true, because I'm going to put my cynical hat on for a moment, and I really don't want to do this, but I can't help but have this slight worry that the amount of criticism that this era of Doctor Who has had has pushed the BBC to maybe shunt him out a little bit and just try and reboot the show again. Because we would be ignoring the elephant in the room if we failed to acknowledge this era has had a lot of criticism from a lot of people. And so I just wanted to talk a bit about my own thoughts on the era generally and how I feel about both of them leaving on a more low-key basis for this video. So basically, to me, one thing I've really hated about this era in particular is not even the way it's made, it's nothing about that, it's the reception that some people have had to it. On YouTube, on Twitter, on social media, there has been this almost unnecessary bashing of the show, to the point where it actually impacted my own personal enjoyment of the show and my thoughts on each episode. There is one YouTuber in particular that I used to watch constantly for his Series 12 review videos that I really wish I hadn't, because it got to the point where he would just bash everything in every single episode, and then when I'd watch the next one in the show, I'd start to hate it because I knew he would too. And I'm really sad that that was the point I was at mentally with this show, that I'd been kind of like almost brainwashed by all the criticism. I firmly honestly believe that if you take a step back and look at the show properly, maybe even rewatch it and give another judgment if you are one of those people who doesn't like the era as much, you will find yourself enjoying it a lot more. Ignore the criticism, ignore what people say. This whole thing about the writing being awful is something that's passed around I think a bit too much. Are there certain stories that are a bit weaker than normal? Maybe, yes. But every run has stories that aren't very well written. That's nothing new to Jodie's era. And there are some absolutely fantastic episodes in Jodie's run. I personally think her first episode might be my favourite New Doctor story, even better than the 11th Hour, and that's saying something because that's a fantastic episode. But there was something so refreshing about Jodie's run that I just really liked. I kind of had this epiphany towards the end of 2020 because during the COVID-19 lockdown, there was a lot of Doctor Who lockdown events going on, watch-alongs looking back on old episodes, and by that point, Series 12 had come out. I wasn't very huge in it. Obviously, all the criticism was really starting to get to me, and I was starting to just kind of go, not a big fan of this anymore. But rewatching the rest of the show made me think, right, okay, I'm going to watch Jodie Whittaker's run again and give it an actual proper review in my head of what I really think of it actually. Because by that point, my love of the show had been revitalized. I was properly back into Doctor Who again and loving every second of it and watching it constantly. And when I got to Jodie's era, I really enjoyed it. I think the whole too political argument is something that's really irked me for quite a long time. Doctor Who has always had political undertones. The Daleks are based on the Nazis. What do you expect from this show? There are a lot of political allegories. If you look through, especially Russell T Davies' era, there are a lot of political issues hinted hinted at. The only difference I think that's been made with Jodie's era in particular is that it's been a bit less subtle, but that's probably because they've tried to go back to the older era of Doctor Who, where it's more of a school lesson, like what they did with William Hartnell. The point was to educate children on different points of history, and it kind of evolved from there. Jodie Whittaker's era seems to have gone back a bit to that time, in particular the Rosa Parks episode. When I first watched that, I didn't mind it. I thought it was alright, but I wasn't huge in it. When I rewatched it, I absolutely thoroughly loved it. I thought it was fantastically done. It was tone perfect. I thought the whole execution of it, them having to be on the bus at the very end, it was dark, but it was very, very well done. Not to mention Spyfall Part 1 and 2 in Series 12, which I think is one of the best Doctor Who cliffhangers ever. I can't explain to you how excited I was when they revealed the Master was back, because I hadn't seen any of the rumours. Apparently it was spoiled months in advance, and I somehow missed it. So I genuinely do believe that Jodie Whittaker has been a fantastic casting for the Doctor. I think at the end of the day, the most important thing for the Doctor for me is casting the best actor. I don't care if it's a man, I don't care if it's a woman, I don't care if they're white, they're black, I don't care at all about any of that stuff. I don't. As long as the actor is good and will play the character well, I'll back it. And Jodie Whittaker has been fantastic. I firmly believe it. I just really hope that all the constant negativity from a lot of people on the internet hasn't forced their hand at all. I don't think it will have done with Jodie. I think probably 3 series was probably what she had in mind, having seen what David, Matt, and Peter did. It's a fair assumption. But I really expected Chris Chibnall to do 2 Doctors. Russell T Davies did 9 and 10. Stephen Moffat did 11 and 12. I genuinely thought Chris Chibnall would do 13 and 14. And with him leaving, it genuinely makes me worry as to what will happen with the 60th anniversary. Because now whoever they cast as the 14th Doctor is going to have that massive responsibility to deal with quite early in their tenure, as well as having a new showrunner to try and write something interesting for that. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the BBC will find a great Doctor and a great showrunner to take both of their places, but I just think, you know, Moffat had 3 years as showrunner before they actually got to 50th anniversary, or technically almost 4 years, really. So I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm just looking forward to seeing how Jodie Whittaker's run ends. It seems that they're going for a very similar David Tennant style ending, because David Tennant had 5 specials overall, but one was a Christmas episode to follow on from Series 4, so if we ignore that, and also remember the last one was 2 parts, technically there were 3 stories in his last year, if that makes sense. So it's something similar for Jodie Whittaker. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I would probably wager that Dalek's going to be involved somehow, since it seems that there's probably going to be another Dalek festive special at some time, because that's how they've done it the last 2 series. And if we do end with some kind of Dalek trilogy where Jodie is killed by a Dalek, I think it'd be quite interesting. I really, really do. But just overall, I'm quite sad to see Jodie go. You know, I've really liked her Doctor for a while now. The last 6 to 12 months, I've properly built up a love for her Doctor. I liked her before, but she's really grown on me properly in the last year or so. And so I am really sad to see her go. I really do not want her to leave, but I get it. You know, 3 series run. It's typical for Doctor Who at this point. But before those 3 specials even air, we've still got Series 13, the 6-part story with Jodie Whittaker, Mandip Gill, John Bishop, and Jacob Anderson joining the cast as the semi-companion Vinder. I'm not really sure what capacity he's really going to be in the show in, but either way, he's joining the cast too. I'm really, really excited for Series 13. I think it's going to be a fantastic series, and I'm excited to see these final 3 specials. But what do you all think of Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall's departure? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd be interested to know what your thoughts are on this recent announcement. But that's going to wrap up this video for me, so thank you very much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you leave a thumbs up to let me know you've liked the video and would like to see more. It does help get the video on the algorithm if you give it a thumbs up, so please consider doing so. And also, if you're new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, consider doing that too. I'd greatly appreciate it. But either way, I will see you all very soon with a brand new video. So until then, thank you all very much for watching The Cosmic Vortex, and I will see you all very soon.